area of the Circulation Manager that I will just very briefly talk about is the systems configuration area. And this is where LYRASIS comes into play. So myself and my colleagues here at LYRASIS configure all of this information on behalf of your library and on behalf of Connecticut State, of course, and that's kind of part of the service that we're providing. We integrate your ILS, we integrate all of your collections, we manage kind of the technical underpinnings of this software. However, you do have the ability to view the information about your particular library that's configured here in the Circulation Manager. As well as you can add additional administrative users to log into the Circulation Manager if you have interest in doing that, to share it with other staff at your library. I would encourage you not to modify anything here in this interface. You certainly can, but that's something that LYRASIS is happy to do on your behalf as well. So I'll just quickly click on the edit button here. There's a few things that certainly, if you'd like to modify, you can. If your library name is spelled wrong, for instance, feel free to come in and adjust that. There's the various email addresses, as well as links out to library properties that you might have. So your website, a link to a privacy policy, that sort of thing that are integrated in here as well. That you can certainly feel free to modify, or if you're not comfortable, feel free to reach out to LYRASIS and we can do that for you as well. Let's see, what else do I want to highlight? The other thing in here, there's a lot of configuration information, which I won't go into detail. But the one thing I know usually comes up that folks like to make sure is correct and or might change is their library logo, which is what you'll see in SimplyE. And that is in the client interface customization area. So if we have configured the wrong logo for your library, or you have an updated logo, you'll see what is configured, in this case for New Milford, here in the center of your screen. You can always upload a new logo and change what's integrated in SimplyE if you'd like. So that's one thing. Feel free to adjust that if you'd like. The other thing for many libraries, we haven't configured these optional URLs. So if you have a privacy policy or a copyright policy, or any of these other terms on your library's website that you want to also make available in SimplyE, you can add those here as well. You simply just insert the web URL in these fields and then click submit down here at the bottom of the screen. Where these appear in SimplyE, you might ask, or maybe you don't, but I'm going to anticipate that you ask that. As a patron, once you log into your library, there's an accounts area in SimplyE. And in that accounts area will be a list of potentially multiple libraries that you go to, but probably just one or two. And when you click on your library that you're logged into, there's about information about your library. So in this case, in the SimplyE app, I'm logged into the New Milford library, go to my accounts area, I can see my barcode, and then I can go to information about New Milford Public Library. And that's where all of this information would be presented. Additionally, there's the ability to contact the library as well, and that is where this patron support email address comes into play as well. So patrons do have the ability in SimplyE to click that contact and send an email to you, or whatever email address is configured here in the patron support email address. So that is all to say that there are some of these fields, not all of them, but some of them here in this configuration window that are that are available and made available to patrons in SimplyE. Many of them LYRASIS has not configured on behalf of the libraries. We've done all of the required kind of main fields, but you certainly have that ability to add additional, again, links out to certain policies or terms that you might have on your library's website. And again, I'll also say that LYRASIS is happy to update any of this information if you're not comfortable either way. And then lastly, in this interface, you'll see the button here on the left-hand side. So the navigation changes here in the configuration area. The navigation is in the leftmost panel, is the administrative logins. So this list is all of the administrators who can log into the Circulation Manager. There are many, many, many more libraries that are configured on the Circulation Manager. But this login can only access New Milford Library. So this is not the exhaustive list of administrators who can log into New Milford. It's all of the administrators who can log into this Circulation Manager. However, if you'd like to create a login for a colleague at your library, for instance, you would simply click on Create New Individual Admin, insert their email address, a password, and then you have a decision to make, essentially. It's kind of 3 pieces of information to create a login. So email, password, and then whether you want your colleague to have library manager permissions or if just the librarian role. What that means is that if they are given the ability to be a library manager, they can come in, they can add additional logins, they can see and access and change the library information. So they could potentially change the name of your library, for instance, if they are a library manager. So that's all of the functionality that I was just showing today. If you give them just librarian access, they don't have access to this systems configuration area. They can only see the combined catalog. They could edit metadata, but they can't change anything from an administrative perspective about the library itself. So not a huge difference, but something to keep in mind. And again, this is something, feel free to jump in and create admin, administrative or logins to the Circulation Manager for your colleagues, or if you'd rather not do that at all, just send our LYRASIS support email an email and we'll create them for you. That's certainly no problem. All right, I think I'm coming to a close. The very last thing, most simple, straightforward thing that you could do here in the Circulation Manager is change your password or sign out in the top right.